This is take 2.
You don't have to announce how many takes we do, Shaun. You don't have to announce how many takes we do. Shaun just made fun of my hair. It's a sensitive subject. We've gone over how sensitive we both are about hair, and he said that my perm looks like I'm wearing a wig.
I didn't say that. I said your hair looks wild. That was not a negative thing. It was just a comment. It was an observation about the state of your hair.
It's how I interpreted it. So you said my hair looks wild, and by the time it goes into my brain and insecurities, what I hear is, John, you look like you're wearing a wig.
No,
Stop
wild is
perming your
good.
hair.
Dude, you've got all this hair. I've got no hair. I mean, I have hair. I just chose to get rid of it. Hey, guess what, John?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
This is what you're waiting for, right?
Why are you standing up? Shaun, keep your pants on. Oh, shit. Is that real? Is that real? Shaun is showing me
of course
a
it's
tattoo. Real. So Shaun got his first tattoo. It is, wow, it's very clean. It's a baby devil. It's a baby devil?
It's a baby devil on my forearm.
It's a baby devil on his forearm. Now, what's interesting, that's amazing. That looks really sharp, Shaun. I like it.
Crispy.
Also, you could pull it off. You could pull it off, man. It's great. You were going to get good enough. What happened?
Yeah, the whole thing.
How did good enough turn into a baby devil?
Well, first of all,
with her arms on her her hands
on her knees. Yeah, and and she's flipping you off too.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Here, one more time. She's flipping you off.
Right here. Yeah. I see it. Okay, got it.
So I was going to get the good enough, right?
Yeah.
As a reminder that things are good enough, and I could stop seeking perfection. And then I did some research on tattoos, and I started overthinking and reading, and a lot of the cover-ups end up being people's quotes.
Right.
And the thing with text is that sometimes if it's not done well, it doesn't age that well.
Mm-hmm.
And then also people the significance changes for people. And so for a while you're like, yeah, good enough. And then after a while you're like, I'm so fucking tired of this thing, you know? And people seem to be a lot more willing to ask you about your tattoo if it's a quote or some written text rather than if it's just a design. So I took all of this into consideration, and someone was like, dude, just find a local artist that you like their stuff. So I started looking at local artists, and I found this woman, Adriana, and she had this little hot stuff baby devil that is so cute. And
hot stuff. That's what it is. It's hot stuff.
Well, hot stuff. Yeah. Hot stuff is more like big head. It's like a little dude. It's a little devil dude.
Mm-hmm.
This is like sort of a play. This is more of a pie or cupies.
Shaun, it fits you because you're a little cutie and
I'm a little
spicy. You have a little devil in you for sure. I mean, so a harmless little devil, and then and then you're flipping someone off. I can see that.
So I love it, and I'm already like I'm. It's actually kind of problematic. I'm a little obsessed with tattoos now. I'm like doing a thing that I do.
I told you it's like potato chips, and I can relate to the word thing because I have are words mostly, and some of the words started off in English, and over time now it looks like Korean
because you can't read them as well.
Can't read them; it blurs, especially if the font's tiny. Yeah, and I use typewriter font, and now it's starting to blur after 6-7 years. So,
but I mean, there's a lot of great things that you could do with cover-ups and blast overs, and like it's pretty amazing.
I don't use tattoos for aesthetics. They're bookmarks. They're dog-eared pages of my life. I mean, my next tattoo is going to be Logan writing her name with a Sharpie, and then just tattooing that image anywhere. So that's just the way I see tattoos. But welcome to the club, Inc. And I'm curious to see how your body starts to turn into art.
Well, I will tell you this, that I am more interested in the aesthetics of it than the bookmark.
Meaning, yep.
Yeah. And I think it also, I think I'm having some sort of a midlife crisis a little bit, with the shaving of the head and the...
Oh, tattoo.
So it's like, CrossFit, shaved head, tatted up.
Yeah.
I just want to be a tatted up baddie, basically. Move to LA, wear a
shit.
Dickies jacket, black Vans.
It's happening. Hey, just don't buy a Corvette. Just don't
I
buy a
don't think
Corvette.
it fits the aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait, you have a Rolex, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I've been looking at replica Rolexes because I don't want
Yeah,
to spend
because someone's gonna mug you anyway.
So they're
You know what I'm
$500, and they can't, and
Mm.
like 99% of people cannot tell a difference between a rep
No.
and a genuine Rolex.
Yeah.
When did you get a Rolex?
My brother collects them, and so he gave me one.
Oh,
So I guess it's
really?
kind of a replica because I didn't buy it.
Well, your brother collects Rolexes?
He's got a problem, dude. He's got a box, and he has probably $300,000 worth of Rolexes. They're each like 20K, 15K, 17K. And I'm like, why? What are you doing? What are you doing with this? That just sits in your house. And he's always been like that. He's always been a collector, whether it's watches, jewelry, cars. He's got this. I mean, we all got problems, but that's his thing.
I mean, if you've got the money for it, cool. It is kind of a strange collection, and it's definitely like, I think it's partially to impress other people with Rolexes and other watch collectors.
Well, here's what's funny. He has $300,000 worth of Rolexes. He only wears fake ones because he's so scared he's going to get jacked. And then I'm like, well, why did you buy things that you're not going to wear? It's so strange.
It is really weird. And I kind of go deep into Rolex land. Not that I don't even really want one. I do want a fake one, but I don't want a real Rolex. Like I'm not going to spend 20 grand on a watch.
We got to start talking about breakups, Shaun. But there's there is this kind of interesting kind of Starsky and Hutch thing happening where you come into LA. I mean, I know you're gonna probably have two different. You're gonna be have two different houses or homes, but coming to LA, getting a tattoo, shaved your head.
Oh, CrossFit, dude! I'm turning into John.
Well, no. You're not turning into me, but you're kind of turning into your version. I wouldn't say your version of me, but you're the phoenix rising out of the ashes. You already ride motorcycles, so it's like
it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like something. There's like a new version appearing.
When women get together, stay for a long time, their periods sync up.
That's what they say. I don't know how true that is, but yeah.
Well, that's what they say. And I think there's something like that happening with us after we started the podcast. Suddenly,
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you're wanting to go to sex parties and skinny dip and do Molly and
suck a dick.
Suck a dick. That's so funny. I guess we're going to talk about breakups.
Yes.
Today.
What was your biggest breakup? The one that crushed you. We're going to talk about a few different types of breakups. That's the whole concept of my new book. But what was the one that devastated you?
I had two that were kind of similar, and I think they were similar in the sense that it was both with women, both over a period of time where they were sort of unable to fully commit to me.
Mm.
They were both, I would say, avoidantly attached.
Mm-hmm.
And just had a really hard time showing up in a consistent way.
Aren't you also kind of avoidant?
I think my therapist says that I have more of a disorganized.
Disorganized. Okay.
Yeah, ambivalent thing going on. It's complex.
I love you get away.
I love you get away. But isn't that avoidance as well? Like avoidance, they want to be in relationship too. That's why they're doing the dance.
It is? All of it is anxiety, and the way that we manage that anxiety, whether we're running or clinging onto someone's leg, it is all a form of managing our own anxiety with love. So yeah.
So, anyways, these two women, they ended, and I wasn't ready for the relationship to end. I still wanted to keep.
Yeah.
They broke up with me. I think that's why they were so devastating. Is because they broke up with me. I have a side. Can I go on a side quest real quick here?
Yes.
I went on a first date this last week.
Mm-hmm.
You
showed me her. That person or someone different?
I don't know.
Yeah, you showed me her.
Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember that. met her out in the wild, out in this, out in the town, and had a fun little connection. We went on a date, and I thought the date went really well. A lot of stories, some flirting, some she was like touching my arm, like all that kind of stuff. Like we were both expressing interest in seeing each other again, trying to find a time to make that happen.
Yeah.
And then the next day I texted her and I was like, "Hey, that was really fun. Looking forward to seeing you again." She was like, "Yeah, it was really fun. We had a really great conversation." And unfortunately, I'm not feeling romantic vibes with you.
Oh God. Hey, dude, I'm so glad you shared this, man. This is what I love about you, man. And I'm like this too, dude. Just put the shit on the table. This is truth. Fuck, man. Yeah, can I? Okay, so listen. I want to donate something to this pot. I met someone a while ago. We went on a date. It seemed cool, like you. It wasn't just a coffee date. I took her to a play, so it was like dinner, play, extensive. We went back to my place, and it felt completely organic and natural to then kind of kiss her. I kind of moved in to kiss her because I was kind of holding her from behind. She gave me no signs that she wouldn't be interested. I kind of moved in to kiss her, and she turned her head, and she said the same thing, Shaun. She said, "Yeah, I don't feel the in my I don't feel the butterflies." And I was like, "Okay, I mean, but why are you here in my house? Why didn't you end this earlier?" We I was so,
Yeah.
and then we kind of we hugged, we spooned on the couch for a while, and then she left. It was so strange.
That is weird. Well, okay, so a couple things. That's why you ask first instead of leaning in. You get to avoid that.
This was
pre. This
is like a decade ago. So I didn't. Yeah, there was permission wasn't a thing.
I will say that permission was a thing. It just wasn't as much as it is now.
It was a thing.
I will say that I paid for the drinks. I made the date. I asked her out. Nice. I picked the place. Like I did. Okay. I'm like turning over a new leaf here.
I love it.
And then I got to be honest, it was kind of a blow to my ego for sure.
Yeah,
I was not expecting it.
Yes.
Part of me is like I do get rejected on a semi-regular basis because I put myself out there a lot.
Yeah.
But usually by the time we get to a date, I'll get rejected for going on dates. But usually by the time we get to a date, it doesn't really happen. I'm the one who does the rejecting.
Right.
And so it was a blow to the ego. And then I started getting in my head just a little bit, oh, what did I say? What did I do? Is it me? And then at the end, I was just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You think it was a tattoo? I'm just kidding.
It might have been the tattoo. Yeah, she could have turned her off.
No, dude.
It was fresh. It happened just after the tattoo.
Hey, if the tattoo's shiny, it's not as cool. It's got to be worn down a lot.
It's got to be worn down, yeah.
Because brand new tattoo is it's very try hard. It's very shiny.
I mean, dude, the first tattoo is kind of try hard.
Yes. You need other tattoos to make this less of a tattoo.
Oh, I don't think I told you this. I have an appointment booked already for the next tattoo.
Shaun.
And it's right before your wedding, which means I can't go swimming in the ocean.
You know what's funny, man? I think you and I. No, that's a myth. That's a myth. By the way, my tattoo artist says you could shower the next day. That's the whole thing. The
shower is one thing. Swimming in the ocean is a whole different thing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's an open wound, and the ocean is teeming with.
Okay, I can see that. Dude, I think you and I are very addictive. I think we have addictive personalities because what you're doing.
I know this about me.
What you're doing is exactly what I would do. I would get one tattoo, and then before that thing even drops, before the shine comes off, I'm already scheduling more because I've got ideas. Yeah,
I'm scheduling more. I've already found a whole bunch of designs that I think.
Oh shit! By the time you come to LA, you're gonna have a sleeve.
Well, there's an aesthetic that I'm going to be going for, but it's kind of wild because as of 3 weeks ago, getting a tattoo wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah.
And now,
so I wrote this book.
Break Up on Purpose.
Hey everyone, I thank Shaun because right now our podcast is a white train, and no one knows what I'm talking about. But I grew up in the '80s, and if you were a break dancer, the white train in New York was like a unicorn because you could graffiti on it. And so right now, we don't have any ads.
We don't have. I'm also a white train to any tattoo artist.
Yes. Well, not anymore because you got ink. You got the graffiti on your arm, so you're
That's
not really
right,
a white
train.
Yeah.
So we have no ads. What do you? So you have no ads, and so we are going to use this opportunity to promote John's book.
Well, not just my book, but you and I are doing a retreat. Whatever's happening in our life, I mean, for sure. I mean, I think people want to engage with us and our what we provide. Brand new book called Single on Purpose. No, wrong. Sorry, called Breakup on Purpose, and it's about the different types of breakups we go through. And I thought when I was writing this book, no one talks about um, what's prescribed because it's going to be different. So, for example, if you're going through a breakup where it's mutual, right? Or if the breakup uh, happened years before the actual breakup, right? Then that's very different than say going through a divorce where you have kids and it's complicated and you own property together and stuff. And so there's no one fits all. So I thought we'd maybe go over 3 or 4
Types of breakups.
types of breakups, maybe what's prescribed, and then we also have callers.
Yeah,
We
I
have
also
callers?
have several questions about breakups.
Mhm.
One about like feeling unworthy in the
Yeah,
relationship, being made to feel unworthy. One
yeah.
about the anxious avoidant sort of
Dance.
dance, which is
Yeah.
like I think the most common pairing of attachment styles out there.
Yes, opposites attract.
And then one on how to not repeat old patterns.
Oh, yeah, all important.
Yeah. But where do you want to
Um,
start?
let's start with the blindsided breakup. That is when you are blindsided. Uh,
Kind of like me a couple mornings ago.
maybe. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, you define what blindsided looks like for you. Uh, the blindsided breakup can feel like emotional whiplash because you didn't see it coming. And listen, if you're in a relationship for like 3 or 4 years, if you're living with someone and then out of nowhere, there's no warning and they're like, hey, I don't think it's working out. And within like a 2-hour conversation, they've broken up with you. That can feel like an act of violence, you
And
know?
also, they knew it was coming. They've
Yeah,
been
they just didn't
processing it on
right
their own
on
the
their own.
whole time,
Yeah.
which is really, really unfair.
And listen, I don't want to make them a monster because they may not be intentional. They probably have struggled with expressing themselves. They probably didn't want to rock the boat. They probably thought this would crush you or whatever. But then they 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 took it so far. Now they're done. They didn't give you the warrant. You didn't get the email, and now it's over. And it leaves that person who was broken up with no chance to like even try to repair.
I've done that several times.
I've done it once. I was gonna say, have you done this? I've done it. I've done it once, and I felt, oh my god, it was so bad.
That might be like my MO, actually. I'm the blindsider if I'm exiting a relationship.
Why is that? Why do you do that? Is it because you don't want to hurt their feelings? Is it because or because obviously it's not. You're not deceitful. You're not doing it on purpose.
No, and these are like, to be fair, a little bit on the shorter end of relationship. These are like
Right.
9-month, 1-year
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
And it's like inside it. I think it's just an opportunity for me to get out without having to do any hard work.
Yeah. Just
Like
like the
I'm not
out
willing
the back
to,
door.
yeah, kind of slink out the Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna try to even work on this thing. For me, it's already
Yeah.
over. What's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, it's almost like ghosting. It makes it less painful for me, I think, than to have to sit in this like no
Mm-hmm.
man's land of,
Mm-hmm.
I already know the relationship is over, but now we have to talk about it and like work on it and pretend to work on it and stick around, and then eventually it ends anyways.
But now you have to carry the guilt. How do you get rid of the guilt once you've left without warning?
I don't know.
Or you don't have you're cool.
I go travel or something, like try to forget
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with guilt is you do have to sit with it.
Yeah.
Like as the breaker, most people feel guilty about hurting the other person's feelings.
What
And-
would you prescribe to someone who just got blindsided on? What would you prescribe for them? What should they focus on if someone just blindsided them 2-3 years in? They
I
left?
guess they should focus on whatever they can to soothe their broken heart, right? So I think a lot of self-care, a lot of
Mhm.
surrounded by friends and family, trying not to take it personally, which is super hard to do, but like
Yeah.
it's really not about you. It's most likely nothing that you did, unless you're a bad person. And even if it is something that you did, it doesn't really matter because they didn't give you an opportunity to work on it. Right?
Yes, I would approach it like a car crash, meaning it was like this giant, without warning accident, not your fault. But I would focus on your nervous system. This was traumatic. And so you're going to be very dysregulated. And so, like Shaun said, support system. And there's going to be, I think, time for you to grieve. There's going to be, because I think a lot of people don't want to go through the feelings, or they white knuckle their feelings, and it just kind of makes it worse. I would allow yourself to feel, not for 6 months or a year. I mean, I wouldn't live there. But the way that you release is actually to feel through them, to feel through your feelings.
Yeah, bottling it up and bypassing and going around is not a good strategy for long-term emotional wellness.
The flat soda or mutual breakup. This is the breakup where it should have ended years ago. You guys are now just kind of friends. You guys are together just because you don't want to be alone. And then it finally ends. This is probably the easiest breakup because it's not about hurt feelings. There's almost a relief that the relationship is over.
I had this. We were dating for 4 years between the ages of like 21 and 25, 22 and 26.
Mm-hmm.
And we were great together for a long time. And then it sort of just kind of flattened out. I got sober. We both got sober, actually. She found Al-Anon. I found AA.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically like kind of grew apart. We didn't need each other the way that we did when we were in our early 20s. And we were together for 4 years. And then we sort of had a come to Jesus moment conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Where she realized that she didn't like my parents and would never be able to feel a part of the family. And so I was like, well, what do I do with that? Like, I can't change that, And then we sort of just realized that we weren't a good fit anymore. And so we, over the course of 4 hours, hammered everything out, broke up, and I dropped her off with all of her stuff. And we never, we saw each other like twice again after that. And I felt we both felt an enormous sense of relief.
Yeah. I feel like the flat soda breakup, the mutual breakup, I think is a good thing, because it should have happened earlier, and it was something that we didn't want to address. Now we're ready. There's a relief in it. And I also feel like if you have ambivalence about someone, you're not going to be with them for, that this is going to be an end. You're almost taking someone hostage if you don't talk about it, because you're also allowing that person not to go find the love that they deserve.
Yeah, and you're not giving them the information that they need to make an informed decision about whether they should stay or go, or what they need to do to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
That's like sexual health conversation. When you don't tell anybody about your sexual health, you're not giving giving them a choice.
Yeah. It's like when I lean in to kiss someone instead of asking for permission.
Well, yeah, you're not giving them a choice. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, totally. I mean,
well, I am, because they could turn their head like this one girl did to me. So I did give them a choice.
I will say that there's a lot of people who don't feel comfortable turning their head, and so will go through with it.
Right.
They'll go through with it just to
they feel bad,
or to keep the peace, because it's easier to do that than it is to have a conversation about how they're not feeling it or whatever. So can avoid.
God, is there anything more pathetic than you lean over to kiss, the person kind of turns their head, and then you don't give up, and you're like chasing their lips?
I don't know.
And they're like, stop, dude.
Probably not. No.
That's
is that you?
Pathetic.
That's not you.
No,
right?
that I know when to stop. I will lean in, and then if they don't meet me halfway, I know this,
John's not. There's no more lean in, John. We killed the lean in for John. He's got to ask now.
No, it's all permission now. It's all permission. The next one is the Telemundo soap opera I Need to Get a Restraining Order breakup. This is the breakup that's toxic. This is where you end the relationship and they're slashing tires. They're, DMing your friends. Like, this is where shit gets ugly. This is probably one of the hardest breakups, because you're not only ending the relationship, but now like safety. You got to protect yourself.
Yeah, you're fearing for your life.
Yeah. Or just if it's not like a physical thing, if you're not scared of your ex physically, it's the mind fucks, it's the gaslighting, it's they're still around lingering, that stuff.
I mean, this is a bullet dodged.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is sure. I've never experienced anything like this, nor have I acted in a way that would make people want to, put a restraining order out against me. But
Well,
this
it's a bullet dodged, but also telling of the relationship, for a relationship like this to have this kind of ending, it had to have been super kind of like chaotic. People not working on themselves, looking at things, a lot of reactions, and also relationships like this can be really hot. You know what I'm saying? Like there could
yeah.
be like chemistry and sex just because it's so the friction, it's so raw, and so because of that, it could be very confusing when it's over. It could be really hard to let go of.
Yeah, and it's sometimes the more toxic relationships are the more exciting ones. Right.
Yes, the
A
more
relationship with
dopamine. Yeah.
with like a sane kind of calm love. People struggle with that who are used to a
Yeah.
little bit more chaos. They're like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is not it. This is not feeding my soul. Something's wrong. There's no chemistry. I got to get out of this." But I think our nervous system actually really appreciates a calm kind of love.
I think once you swim past the breakers and recondition, rewire your body, convince your body, hey, this, what you have stamped boring is actually healthy. And if you stay there for long enough, then your body starts to get used to that and then is repelled by the chaos.
Can you explain what swimming past the breakers means?
Do I have to explain everything I say
No, but
because
okay,
things
here,
don't make
John.
sense? Exhaust pipe,
Not
swing past
everybody
the breaker.
gets it. Not
I
everybody
know.
gets it. Not everybody's a surfer or has been to the ocean and doesn't know how hard it is to get past the breakers.
The breakers, the waves, they're at the front. The where the surfers surf. If you swim past that, the ocean is actually calm. We think
Okay.
about the ocean as lots of waves because of surfing, but that's shore break. That's the what maybe 100 feet, and then or 100 yards or so, and after you swim past that, and the ocean's super calm, and so you got to find calm in a relationship for your body to settle in and to rewire itself to think, okay, this is actually healthy, this is new. Most people don't get there because they're always trying to catch the wave, get the high, the chaotic, the dopamine, and I can relate to that. I think both of us are wired that way, right?
Hey, I think every now and then explaining what you mean is actually very nice and poetic.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And the final one is
Final that we're discussing. We're just not discussing all 8. But then I
Yeah.
have a question for you about the book.
Yeah. And this was Sean's idea because Sean said, "Hey, John, don't give them everything." I was like, "Oh, he's looking out for me."
Here, John's was gonna read the whole book.
I was gonna read the whole book. Yes, I was like, Sean, do you mind if our podcast is 4.5 hours? Also,
Free
I read
audio
very
book.
slow. Yeah. Divorce, the D word, the big one, and divorce is obviously probably or can be the most complicated because when people get married, there are maybe kids involved. There's property. I was very lucky where in my marriage, we didn't own property. We didn't have kids. We wanted to. It didn't happen. And so the divorce was very clean. There wasn't fighting. But I know a lot of people around me right now going through a divorce, and that shit can get really ugly very fast. So once people start fighting over money or custody and stuff, oh man, you see like the worst in people very fast. And it's really hard.
Yeah, it sounds so challenging,
Yeah.
and it feels like a lot of people's marriages end poorly. When they're headed for divorce, the divorce is kind of messy. I'm kind of wondering, like, how do you avoid that? Like, how is there so much love at the beginning and then it ends so poorly?
People hurt, and betrayed or feeling betrayed. I only know 1 or 2 couples who have really consciously uncoupled through marriage, and now they're like best friends. But I look at that as the model because it's very rare. Most people that I either help or my friends, it starts off friendly. Okay, we decide to divorce. Usually it's not mutual, so there's hurt feelings. And then once they start separating stuff, like if there's a house involved, or they start talking about, also a lot of marriages, one person wasn't making as much money as the other person. So there's this, financial stuff where they start playing games like chess or leveraging, and then custody and kids. Oh my God, it gets so. And then by the time they get into it, they start fighting over vases and shit. They start fighting over things that aren't even just to be difficult, just to make the other person's life worse.
Yeah, I've also heard of people just walking away and saying, whatever, you do whatever you want, just send me the papers and I'll sign whatever, even if it means losing half the house and all that shit.
Sure, because it's not worth the anxiety. But then there's people who won't sign papers. Like they're like, okay, we'll get a divorce, but then they won't even sign papers. Like that kind of, and you got to track them down. Oh man, it could get really bad.
Yeah, I was answered a question last week on Instagram about like, are separated people okay to date? Like, can you date someone who's separated, or do you have to wait for them to be divorced? And I was like, I used to say a separated person is still married, so hands off. But now I'm like, dude, if you're married to someone who doesn't want to sign the divorce papers and it's been 4 years and you're still, it's like, sure, if you want to date them and you or have good feelings about it, then go for it, because it's way more complex than I thought it was.
Well, there's also people who are still married on paper first, and they're friends and they're great. It's just for tax reasons, and they're dating other people. So yeah, I think it's unique to the situation. There's no like rule that if you're married on paper, then you can't date someone. I think
read the room.
Read the room.
Read the room. Get a gut check. Does this feel okay? Or is this, are they still like in love with each other? Or is it still on again, off again? You didn't talk about on again, off again. Do you talk about that in the book?
The book's already written, Shaun. Don't do this to me. I already turned it in. It's already published.
You didn't add
I can't add shit now. I can't edit it. Don't.
I asked you if it was in the book. I haven't read the book yet. I haven't read the book. I'm still waiting for the. Is there no on again, off again?
There's 8, man. It's a good number. 8's a good number. There's no on and off and on and off again.
Okay, well, that's a complex. We could just talk about on again, off again relationships.
Yes, there is. There's a. You know what I call it? The breakup that never ends.
Oh, okay.
The breakup that never ends. Okay. So it's the on off. It's like,
sorry, I just didn't use your words.
Yeah.
Those suck.
I only speak John Kim. So
those suck.
Yes.
I tell people, like, dude, if it's on again, off again, like, just make it off and walk away, or pick one.
Well, listen, it's hard because they're one of those relationships where it's not like black and white, can't be together. It's good if he would only do this, or if she would only come around. There's always this lingering hope. And then also the multiple round, there's a trauma bond going on, like the round 1, round 2, it's like the DV chart where you fight, there's a honeymoon period, things are good for a while, produces trust, and then you fight again, there's a rupture. Like there's a cycle and pattern to this that people fall into that they're not aware of, that gets them very hard to leave, this energy.
Two things. What's a DV chart?
Oh, DV, domestic violence.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, the cycle.
There's like a pattern. There's a cycle, right? Yeah, it's like predictable.
Ruptures, honeymoon, apology, things are great. Then another rupture, honeymoon. So it's like it leaves people in this loop, and this is when you tell your friends, "Oh, he just hit me once. It's not that bad. He had a really bad day." That kind of thing.
Yeah,
You're not able to see clearer because of you being in this riptide.
Because you're in a trauma bond. What's that?
It's the I love you, get away. It's intermittent love that forms a bond, and it's mostly from our traumas. It's also what we're used to, And so if we grew up with chaotic, inconsistent love, or love that was conditional, our bodies think that's what's the norm, and we gravitate toward that. It feels safe. It feels like home when it's not.
Cool. I love asking you to define things. It's my favorite thing.
He knows the answers to these. He's just fucking with me. He just wants to hear it through.
I don't necessarily know the answer to these. Like I like sort of intuitively can kind of figure out what a trauma bond is, but I don't actually know what it is. So it's nice to get some feedback.
Here's where Shaun and I come together, because using my book and also a lot of stuff that Shaun does, we are running our first retreat together.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this for like since we met.
Yeah, and
John is like
now.
He's like sent out. He's like pitched me 5 different weekends, and now finally, because I'll be in LA. Like, but I was just not going to be in LA the times that he wanted to do it. So now we're doing a retreat, and it's
January.
January. Tell us more.
Oh, it's going to be amazing because it's going to be somatic and workshops. And by workshops, I don't mean like boring. I mean conversational. The way that Shaun actually do this podcast, right? This tone, this energy, experiential.
Yeah.
We're doing it at my little retreat house in Idlewild. It's gonna be cozy. It's just it's a tree house, so it's like in our living room. And while we're hanging out, it's open kitchen. You could smell the food that the chef is making, and that she makes things from scratch. Also, Shaun, she's Greek.
Oh, nice.
Dude, the food is always the star. It steals the show every time. They're like, oh my God, homemade Greek yogurt, homemade this, everything's made from scratch. And so you kind of have this corrective experience where you feel like you're in this family. It's kind of like what I felt when I was 10 and I would go over to my friend's house for Thanksgiving because we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. You have this kind of corrective family experience because it's literally a house. Mom's in the kitchen. Shaun, I don't know who would be the dad. I think we would just be like uncles. I don't know what kind of, what
Two
we'd play.
dads.
My two dads. Hey, let's call the retreat My Two Dads.
Well, it's called Breakup on Purpose, the retreat.
Yes, because I got to mark in my book. But it's gonna be casual over clinical, and there's gonna be some ice, some guided hikes. Anyway, it's gonna be amazing. You could find it. It's actually you could join it now, if you want. It's on my bio link, and just go to my Instagram at The Angry Therapist.
Also in the show notes. So weekend of workshops and somatic experiences with like-minded singles in the mountains, ice, breath work, chef cooked meals. We're going to do a workshop on designing your next relationship. We're going to do a workshop on how to hold space. We're going to do the A-types breakups and how to heal from them. And we're going to connect in the wilderness.
Yeah. And also, this isn't something you need to take a week off of work. This is a potent weekend summer camp feel getaway. So it's fast and convenient.
January 10th, 11th, and 12th. Sort of a great, it's like New Year's, New You.
Yeah.
Turn a new leaf kind of thing.
And you don't have to be going through a breakup to come here because everyone has a breakup that still has some kind of hold on them. So we're going to process heartbreak. Yeah. Awesome. We're excited to see you there. Let's get to questions.
Okay, questions. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Maritza. I'm 47, calling from West Palm Beach, Florida, and I was in a relationship for almost 2 years with what turned out to be an avoidant person. I have an anxious attachment style. I was discarded recently with no explanation, having a really tough time. He was really into it in the beginning and then slowly got more distant. I didn't notice, or I did notice, and he would deny it. And here we are almost 2 years into it, and he almost ghosted me, turned very cold. He is refusing to take any accountability of anything. Packed all my stuff from his house, which I was pretty much living in, and I picked it up, and that was it. But I'm feeling horrible, and I have no answers. How the heck can I move on? Thank you if you guys answer.
Wow. Thank you for your question. I think many can relate. I think this is less about anxious and avoidant and more about you got blindsided. This is a blindsided breakup. She didn't see it coming.
Yeah, and it was just like rug pulled out from underneath, and also no closure.
Yes, but I gotta say, the thing about closure is if you're searching for closure that's dependent on anything from the other person, you may be searching for a long time. So you gotta,
I mean, what I will say about closure as well is that if you can give someone closure, cool, do it. Like every time that I've blindsided, to use John's words, someone in a relationship that I was breaking up with, like I tried to give them as much closure as possible.
Right.
And so if you can give closure, do give closure because it can help the other person. And it can also preserve some solid foundation for friendship later on. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I've managed to stay friends with most of my exes. That being said, sometimes no amount of closure that you give someone is ever going to be enough for the other person. The other person
Mhm.
will just always be like, yeah, but why? But what about this? But you said you would love me forever. And it's like, okay, people say a lot of things in relationships, and those things change. Right.
Yeah.
So we can't just
Yeah.
like hold on to things that they said early on and be like, well, I don't understand. You said this. How could it have changed? Like shit changes.
Here's the danger in this kind of breakup, the blindsided, where you're not given a reason, is internalization. So a lot of times, if someone leaves us, you're going to think, "What's wrong with me?
Sure.
What did I do wrong? Was it my breath? Was it my, that kind of, you take a black light to yourself." And this is where it gets dangerous and hard, because you're going to fall into this slippery well of distorted thinking and, a pool of false beliefs where you're like, could it have been me? They left because there must be something wrong with me. And I would be aware of that and try to get out of that and know that this is them lacking tools to be honest with you and like taking the Irish exit because of fear or because of them lacking the capacity to be vulnerable in front of you.
Yeah. And also, if you don't know what it is, you might be tempted to think that it's like everything. It's the breath. It's my clinginess. It's the fact that I'm anxious. It's the fact that I call you when you don't want to answer, like all this stuff. And it's like, okay, maybe. But maybe it's also the fact that like it doesn't actually really matter what it is because they're not able to tell you what it is. Right. So instead of like you said, putting the black light on yourself, just like accept that it's over, feel the feelings, be angry at the other person. Totally legit. I mean, just depends what you do with that anger, right? Like don't key their car, but like, stomp around, rip up a newspaper, air punch the air, like there's a lot of things that you can do. Train for a marathon.
We don't have newspapers anymore, Shaun. I would take a bat to a pillow or something, but anyway.
Take a bat to a pillow, or to a mattress, get some somatic experiencing. It's totally legit to be super, super angry.
Feel through it, surround yourself. It's really hard if you're alone. So make sure you have support, reach out to a friend. Out of your head, out of your house. You're going to be swimming toward acceptance. This is the big swim, right? This is John Kim going to Catalina on a jet ski.
Is that this weekend? Did that happen?
No, it's happening this weekend.
Yes, I can't wait till next week.
Yeah. This podcast may be I Can Do Better with just Shaun.
Yeah.
If I don't make it back.
Yeah, guys, sorry, John. John didn't make it back. He's still out there. He's fine. He's still out there.
There's a chance. Because listen, man, I look like a seal. Sharks eat seals, so anyway, get support. You're swimming toward acceptance. Once you start to accept, then on the other side of that is then the grieving process. So, denial, anger, bargaining, not necessarily in this order, but you're grieving a huge loss. And then, while you're doing so, you really have to put some structure into your life. So you're out of your head, out of your house. If there's any mantra that works for all breakups. I did this through every breakup, and I've been through many breakups. Out of your head, out of your house. I never said anything no to anything social. I'm an introvert. I didn't want to go out. I just wanted to isolate, and I knew that was bad for me. So I just got out of my house. I went to classes. I got on my motorcycle, fucking went to the restaurant, ate by myself. Like I just got out of my house and out of my head. Those are the two most dangerous places to be, is in your head and in your house alone.
But also, like, you have to eventually go home. Right.
Well, solitude I get, but there's a difference between solitude and isolation.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, you got to go home, sleep.
Yeah, I'm not saying be homeless. I'm not saying just sleep on the sidewalk, Shaun.
Okay, that's good.
Next question.
Next question. Okay, John's ready for next question. Okay. At your service, sir.
Oh, hot.
Hello, my name is Veronica, and I am 30, and I am calling from Central Texas, and I was recently broken up with from a relationship I was in for 2.5 years. It was about almost 6 months ago, and it was not working in many ways now that I reflect and look back on it. But what I'm struggling to kind of get over and put myself out there again is the fact that he made me feel so unworthy. And he was such a nice guy, and I didn't really see the ways in which he made me feel unworthy for my culture and mostly my upbringing. I'm from a working class background, my student loan debt, and I'm not making the money I would like, and he just made me feel like I wasn't worth it. He said the next person he would date would be making more than I would. And even though with all the adversities that I have experienced, I still am very proud of myself. There's not a lot of people in my industry or field, and I just don't know how to get over this and not feel unworthy.
Oh, it's crushing.
Yeah.
I think he used that as an excuse. I would hope that he did. I don't think he really believes that love is based on income.
Right.
And if he does, then good luck with that definition and his future relationships. Because sometimes we make money, sometimes we don't. It fluctuates, right?
Also, I feel like it was very interesting that she was like, he's a really good guy, and then he made me feel like a total piece of shit for not making as much money as him.
Yeah.
It's like, is he that good of a guy? Like, is he that sweet if he makes you
Right.
feel bad about that stuff? Probably not, right? And so sometimes that we need to change the outlook that we had on our exes, right? They weren't that great, and she even said the relationship wasn't good for many reasons.
I wonder if also she dodged the bullet because with that kind of mindset, it can set you up for financial abuse. So if you're not making money or whatever, and he's making a lot, he could suddenly start to control you with finances because he's making more money. He could leverage that, which sounds like, based on what she's telling us, he may be someone that would do something like that.
And relationships are partnerships where we both come to the table with different strengths. And it's often the case that men are going to come to the table with more money, and that is not the best position for women, right? Because when women have kids, they have to step out of their career for a bit, and there's often a huge financial impact for that, right? So you want a partner that sees you as a partnership and that like doesn't make you feel bad for that shit.
Yeah, and that said, women are making a lot of money and doing very well and crushing it.
They are, but once they have kids, like the equation changes. They have to step away for a little while.
Yes.
I mean, most aren't just going to have a kid and then go back 3 months later.
No, you're right.
Like nothing's going to happen. There's going to be for the most part, there will be some impact.
Yeah.
And so you want to be with a partner who's going to support you through that and who's going to see this as a partnership. And I know it's complex. It's complex.
It's a permanent ick. We're talking about icks. It's a permanent ick. This is beyond the ick. This is telling of one's character. So once the feelings subside, I hope you can see this as hey, this doesn't build any kind of legwork or a foundation for a healthy relationship. It's going to end in a car crash if this is how he's defining love.
Also, I think it's worth highlighting that her struggle is like, how can I deal with this feeling of unworthiness? And I just want to say that like the amount of money that you make has nothing to do with how worthy you are as a person.
Yeah.
Right? Like how you make people feel, how you contribute to society, how you are with your friends and your family, like how you give back. That's what's important. Not how much money you have in your bank account.
Yeah, especially in a partnership. It's like, because money can't buy how you make someone feel or the chemistry or the moments, or you know what I'm saying?
I mean, some of the richest people are the most miserable.
Yeah.
Look at Elon Musk. A fucking miserable dude. Right?
I don't know. Is he miserable? I can't tell.
I think so. I think so. I mean, or maybe he's too neurodivergent to.
He's definitely that. I could see.
Yeah, but maybe to a certain degree where it doesn't even affect his doesn't affect his happiness or whatever. Hey,
it seems
hold on.
like he's very busy.
I'll be right back because we got to touch on the ick real quick again.
Are you going to go pee? What are you doing?
I'm going to get my phone.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I'm going to mark this for Tess.
I could tell him a joke or something, but never.
Yeah, tell him a joke.
I don't have any. I only have dad jokes.
I'm back. My phone was actually right next to me.
Perfect.
But I got to unlock it. Hold on. I got to unlock it. I have like one of these Instagram blockers, makes me take a breath.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, dude, I got to tell you something, John. I'm not spiraling, but I'm doom scrolling a lot these days, and it's not good. And I
I
think
could see that. Yeah,
people can relate to this a lot. Like I am not alone in this.
of course. I mean, I caught myself the other day. The TV was on, but I was looking at my phone. I was looking at two screens and just kind of aimlessly just scrolling. And then at the same time wondering what I was going to watch on Netflix. And I caught myself and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
It's like just doing all these things to not feel, right?
Screens in stereo.
But it was to not feel, right?
Well, boredom, to not feel. Also, I'm just like looking at motorcycles and cars and, just random. I mean, but listen, but what's the difference between, because I want to kind of advocate for, or I want to flip it. What's the difference between that and when we were looking at magazines? I used to always have tons of magazines on the table and flipping through, just guy shit and clothes and motorcycles and cars. Like, what's the difference?
Were you flipping through them all the time, 4 hours a day in between everything that you were doing?
No,
while
but I'll
doing
tell you,
other things?
you know what makes it hard for us, Shaun, is because we have to do it for work. That's what makes it hard. So I sometimes I'll work, I'll post, and then take a break, and then I'll kind of scroll. So flipping through magazines, and I work, and so then the time I'm on the phone is a lot for sure.
Yeah, me too.
All day.
Yeah, and now all I'm looking at is tattoo stuff, trying to find my next tattoo. All right, anyways, didn't want to just throw it out in there. Okay, so a couple days ago, I asked people, what is your ick? What's the latest ick? And I just got like thousands.
Oh, I'm
of these.
sure.
So I just want to run through a couple random ones because they're hilarious, right? So he made a blubber noise the first time I went down on him.
A blubber noise? What's a blubber noise?
I don't know. I think maybe like a motorboat or like something. He made a noise.
Oh God!
The first time.
Okay.
So some of these are going to be like, oh, these are like fatal flaws. These are like character flaws, right? And others are going to be like, he like just did a thing, a weird thing, and it turned me off forever, right?
Wait, does an ick mean that it's forever, or is it just a turn off in that moment? Can you come out of an ick and still be attracted to someone?
Some icks you can recover from, some you cannot.
Okay.
I think if you talk about the ick and how it makes you feel and the story you told yourself and all that stuff, and you sort of like work through it, it's possible that you can get through it.
Well, you can't tell someone to correct their sex noises, man.
No, but you could say like, look, when I first went down on you and you made that weird little blubber noise, like,
do it through humor. Or else he's going to be silent. He's going to be, all right, go down on me, and I'm just going to be silent. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so men that micromanage me like I'm an idiot, I know how the garbage disposal works.
Yeah.
Sure. That's fair, right? You don't want to be micromanaged or mansplained. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ate garlic dip and chips. Like
what?
Right?
And that's
exactly.
An ick?
Like what? The guy can't eat fucking garlic dip? By the way, in Greece that's called skordalia, and I remember I would eat it. We would have these dinners, and then everybody at dinner knew that I was going out. It was all like my parents and their friends and stuff. So I was like 18 and they were all in their like 40s and 50s. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't eat skordalia if you're going out tonight because you're going to meet people and they're not going to want to talk to you. And I said, if I meet someone who doesn't like me because I had skordalia, I don't want to be with them in my life. Right? Like,
dude, 80s, kimchi, all that Korean stuff that's pungent. I used to eat it and then brush my teeth. And I would not leave the house. I used to be so embarrassed of it. And I used to thought people would judge me or not be around me. So you embrace your culture. I was embarrassed of it, man.
Yeah.
This is the 80s though. Yeah.
Dude, what about the 80s? Is like, that's your answer to every reason why you do something. It's like, well, it was the 80s.
It was my wonder year, Shaun. That's when we're powdered snow and the imprints are fucking like Bigfoot. Listen. I had a crush on this girl. One of the biggest crushes I've ever had in my life. She was everyone wanted her, gorgeous. She was the one that went to private school that no one, she liked me. She came over one day into my house. And within seconds, she left my house. And I said, what's wrong? And she wouldn't answer. I was like, what's wrong? And she says, I can't do the smell of your house. It smells so. And then she never talked to me again.
Yeah, that's sad.
I mean, we were kids, but teens, but fuck, for like a 14-year-old to be crushed because your refrigerator smells like, and it's not even my fault. My fucking parents are Korean. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. No, that is very sad. And also like and it could be easy to internalize that as there is something wrong with the foods that we eat or the way that my culture is. But
yeah,
it's
but
not.
now today Korean food's exotic. Today they sell this shit at Trader Joe's, and it's very confusing for me because I'm like, you motherfuckers, man, why couldn't you come around in the 80s when it
Well, and it
meant
was,
something?
I guess, yeah, it is. It's also racism, right?
Yeah, of
Like
course,
you were
yeah,
othered,
huge,
right? For sure.
very, yeah.
And I don't have that experience. Like I'm pretty white, even though I have like
No, white people love kimchi now. White people have it in their fridge.
right, but I haven't had the experience of being
Right, right. Well, the garlic Greek thing a little bit, but not really. That's
not really, not
not like
really.
yeah, not like
I haven't been discriminated against because of my race or my culture.
you were never called an Oriental.
No, no, definitely not. But just yeah, but
Anyway.
but tan penis. Anyways, oh man, it's gone. Hold on, I lost it.
So yeah, garlic breath is not, or eating garlic with chips is not an ick. Come on, that's ridiculous.
I mean, dude. Okay. I mean, God, I have so many of these kind of crazy.
You know what's funny is Shaun asks for things from his community. He gets thousands of responses. I ask for things and I get crickets.
Well, I've conditioned people to answer,
Yeah,
to
'cause you
put things in the
engage.
box.
Yeah. I'm
'Cause
like just pumping out videos without engaging. Anyway.
Okay. Tried to give a guy a shot who's 1 to 2 inches shorter, but he looks so small in the driver's seat.
Well, seats are adjustable. Seats are adjustable.
But
You can
not
put
up
your
and
seat
down,
down.
dude. Not up or down. Usually, I mean, yeah, fancy
Yeah, no, you
cars.
can.
No, fancy cars, but Corolla is not going up and down. Dude. You got to put a phone book down or like a booster seat, and that's not.
That is pretty funny. Fuck. All right. Well, look straight ahead. You don't need to look at the driver.
I mean, so what do you think? Like, I guess
No, that's ridiculous. Come
okay, that's
on.
ridiculous.
Because he looks short in the driver's seat. That's an ick. Are you kidding me?
Okay,
Put your seat back.
What about mouth breather?
I mean, what, when we're sleeping, we all breathe with our mouths.
No, like can't like just during life.
Oh, like you're okay, yeah. That's a little creepy. It's a little like like yeah, like if you're eating and stuff, it just like feels very heavy and like yes.
Like go
that's a mild ick. I could see that.
go talk to an ENT, ear,
Yeah.
nose and throat. Like
Yeah.
go get your I have a deviated septum and so it's hard for me to breathe through my nose all the time, but I try.
Yeah, you start to sound creepy. I get it. That's a mild ick. I could see that.
Let's see what else we got. Men with long fingernails.
That's a hygiene thing. That's gross. Like that's
I have one buddy who's got a long pinky, but that's for drugs.
Oh, I know, but that's
he does
weird,
it for ketamine.
Man. Yeah, that's a sign. Like one long pinky. Yeah, that's
one long pinky. Yeah. So hygiene. Also, yeah. Also, if you're doing any sort of like fingering with long nails, not
that's
good.
gross.
Not good.
Men, go get manicures and pedicures, and those once in a while.
Dirty bathroom. Dirty bathroom.
Yeah. That's a legit ick. Yeah. That is a legit ick.
That's also hygiene.
That is hygiene.
So anything hygiene related, I think is legitimate. Yeah. Is legitimate. Some people say like bad teeth, which is kind of hard.
No, that's hard,
because
man.
That's hard to rectify.
You can't fix it. Well, listen, dirty teeth maybe, or bad breath, or like shit in your teeth, but the structure of your teeth, like you couldn't afford braces. That's
Your parents couldn't afford braces.
That's what I mean. Your parents, or your family, or whatever.
Like, you have even less control over that stuff.
If your teeth are stained, that's kind of an ick because we could all whiten our teeth. We may not all be able to straighten our teeth, but we could whiten our teeth. No.
Yeah, I mean, some people say I have really white teeth, but actually they're coffee and cigarette stained.
I think I have white teeth, but I think it's because my skin is darker than yours.
Yeah, if you want white teeth without whitening your teeth,
get a tan.
Just get a tan. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Weird.
Or if you want a flatter stomach, go get a tan.
Okay, weird toenail issues. I feel like toenails are kind of tricky.
Well, they fall under hygiene. Get them clipped. Get them cleaned. What do you mean tricky?
Yeah, but like fungus and like weird stuff, like toes are just like people have like bunions and like.
Go get that shit taken care of.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, not everybody can. Not everybody can.
Why?
Well, bunions requires like a really like invasive surgery.
Oh,
yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, to the best of your ability. Here's the thing. You may have things like weird toes and stuff, but as long as they're clean and you keep them up and you put effort into hygiene, then that's not an ick, you know?
Yeah. He had tiny, delicate hands.
I think that's cute.
But can he fix something with those hands?
What does delicate hands even look like visually?
Tiny little fragile piano fingers.
Oh.
You know, like
piano fingers.
Like, can he turn a screwdriver? I mean, I think women want a guy who can fix a door. You know, like, can he do that with his tiny, delicate hands? I don't know.
I mean,
can you do CrossFit with tiny, delicate hands? Can you even pick up the barbell?
I mean, it's not the size of the hands, but your hands will have calluses. It will feel like you've worked on some engines if you CrossFit because of the amount of barbells you touch daily.
They'll be less delicate.
They won't be delicate. They could be tiny. You could have tiny hands. They will not be delicate. So that's what you do. You say, hey, listen, your hands are tiny. Go lift something. Yeah.
Doesn't like swimming in the ocean.
That's me. That's an ick.
Yes, dude. Everything is an ick.
Vanessa wrote
everything
in,
is a potential ick. Now, this was someone called.
I think we're getting carried away with these icks where they're so extreme that we're like making decisions. We're not giving people chances.
Yeah, we're not giving people chances.
So this person that wrote that, she's on a date with me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Catalina. I'm afraid of the ocean. Boom, it's over. She's like, oh, ick.
Well, no, because you're still choosing to go on a jet ski. You're choosing to face your fear.
Oh, this person's afraid. And maybe then that's the ick is they're cowardly or they're not willing to face their fears.
Yeah, so maybe the ick is also like what it represents. Like any sort of hygiene stuff, It's like, okay, you have long fingernails, but like how do you feel about cleanliness in general?
Yeah.
Right? How do you take care of your things? Yeah. Right? And so it might be that. It's like, what does this represent? Right. Not so much the actual thing.
You know what is also, I think, a legit ick, and I'm generalizing, but for women is men with like horrible shoes, like who wear shoes that are inappropriate for the occasion, or they're like so torn and ripped, like almost there's a hole in their shoe, like old, like, you know, fucking dad sneakers, yellow sneakers. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm a casual shoe guy. I think you are too.
I'm a casual, but they're appropriate. They're not like and I also think about you're trying to be cool. I'm not like just wearing, like dad sneakers or like Crocs.
I will, like for weddings, I'll buy a fresh pair of Vans.
Yeah.
For almost every wedding I go to.
Right. So that's a style choice. That's like, okay, I kind of like wearing Vans at a wedding. They're going to be new and fresh. They're not the Vans you grew up with, you know.
Yeah. Totally.
In the 90s, yeah.
He uses too many emojis in our texts.
I feel like that's like feels like someone's trying too hard, and that's the turnoff.
I think I'll be honest here. I think it's a generational thing, and I know that like Gen Z doesn't use emojis as much. Like they'll go back.
Oh, it's a millennial. It's a millennial thing because I don't use emojis.
It's a millennial thing, and I've had to like tone down the amount of emojis that I send to people.
You're an elder millennial, correct? Because I'm Gen X.
Correct. I'm an elder millennial. And
I don't use emojis. I'm Gen X.
I like emojis.
I also don't use letters, like LOL.
I use LOL now instead of the laughing emoji.
I don't know what they mean anyway.
Laugh out loud. I think boomers use emojis too.
Yes, the generation, yes. So like Gen X, boomers use the shit out of emojis. They're trying to be cool. Gen X don't use emojis. Millennials use emojis. Gen Z, it's like checkers. Gen Z doesn't.
Boomers use them differently. Like my mom will be like, "Can't wait to go on a boat," and then it'll be like boat, anchor, mermaid, water.
They're too on the nose. They're too on the nose.
Whereas I often use.
They're not clever.
Yeah, like I'm going to the spa, and then I'll put like the nails, right? The person getting the nails done, or I'll use an emoji to describe how I'm feeling about the thing I just wrote. So it would be more of like a personality, like this is the mood that I'm in.
Which generation uses the GIFs? the animation. That's Gen Z.
I don't know. I mean, millennials use
Yeah.
GIFs as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, how about this one? Someone who doesn't shower every day. That's me, by the way.
Okay, so that is hygiene related. Now, why do you not shower every day? Because you don't really need to?
Yeah, I don't feel like it. I don't need to.
Okay, but if you work out and you're sweaty and you don't shower,
I
then
will
that's
shower
commit.
before bed. I'll shower before bed.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's not, I mean, I don't know, man. If I don't work out and I'm just, writing and shit, I'm not dirty. But if I get on my motorcycle, I work out. I mean, 100% I shower.
Yeah, I want to shower
and I
after
do those
workout.
things daily, so I pretty much shower every day.
I'll smell myself. Sometimes I could feel, I'll be like, I feel dirty. I'm going to go take a shower.
Yeah.
Or I'll smell my pits.
Okay.
So maybe that's an ick for somebody.
I have no body odor.
Oh, nice.
It's weird. I have zero body odor. I think it's because I have no body hair. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't have any. Every woman I've dated, they've had more yellow under their armpits of their white t-shirts than me. I've never had anything like that.
No hair is great for tattoos, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
They pop more.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a couple last ones, and then we'll get out of here. Not knowing what mint looked like.
Not knowing what mint look like? You mean they don't take breath mints?
No, like they don't know what mint, like the actual plant, looks like. They weren't able to identify mint.
That sounds like me, actually. I got it. That's definitely me. So like ignorance. They're saying like not just doesn't know what a strawberry is or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
doesn't know things that he should know.
Yeah.
These just keep getting. These are so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know what mint looks like, the conclusion is okay. This person isn't like cultured. Probably doesn't like
cook.
Food. Doesn't cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. You live in a bubble. Like yeah.
Being unfriendly to people working in service jobs.
Oh, that's a legit ick.
I think that's legit.
That is, yeah, because I think that people who are really nice to you, but they're fucking assholes to like the valet and servers and all that. To me, that's more telling of their character. They're just, yeah.
Yeah. So some of these are like character related, and others are just like really not what is important to building a relationship.
Let's end with this. What's an ick for you?
I think we answered this last time. Oh, I guess someone who like needs a lot of hand holding in a social environment.
Oh, yeah. Like you can't go to a party and just let them. You got to like babysit them.
Yeah, I don't want that.
You're so not that. I could see you could go anywhere and you handle your own. You don't need.
Well, you want to hear something funny?
Yes.
I was invited to. I have these friends that are baristas at the local coffee shop. They invited me to their birthday party, and I went. And I had the bottle of wine. I was going to go in, and they're younger than me, so there was a lot of Gen Zers in there, and there was a bunch of people hanging outside, like smoking cigarettes, and I couldn't go inside. I was like having too much social anxiety, so I just walked. I went home.
Wait, why? It doesn't sound like you.
I know. But what I'm saying is that like sometimes I don't feel so confident, or sometimes I don't have the energy for meeting a whole bunch of strangers, and so I just walked away.
Oh. Well, good for you for listening to what you feel like you need.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it.
Well, think about
where can we get your book, dude? Well, first of all,
it's why
in the show notes, but
in the show notes, books and our retreat in the show notes. And by the way, this is the first time you listening that we are actually announcing this retreat, and then we're gonna talk about it more via social.
Yes.
My book is why. Just find it on Amazon. Breakup on Purpose. Also, Target picked up 10,000 copies.
What?
Yeah, go to Target.
That's crazy. Okay, yes. Can you get it elsewhere but Amazon? Because there are some people who don't like Amazon.
It's wide, Shaun. It's everywhere.
Oh, widely available.
Wide.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I don't spell shit out, man. Life's so short. Do I need to say widely available? You sound like Vanessa. When I'm texting, she's like, "You're missing words." I was like, "Can't you just put it together? You could put it together." My book is wide. They get
No,
it.
that just makes
Not
me
my-
think it's like a huge
Oh, it's
book,
literally why
like a
it's
coffee
it's a
table book.
book.
Yeah.
It's my book is widely available in all the bookstores. Wherever you buy books, you will see it there.
I'm just trying to help you promote
Jeez.
your book, John. People like when you go on the morning show or whatever and they ask you where you can get your book and you're like, it's wide.
Right? They're like, it doesn't look wide.
What's better is if you say it's widely available wherever you buy books. That's it. I'm just trying to help.
Oh, I could see Vanessa giving you a fucking high five.
We're all on the same team.
Yes.
Team John. Jon.
And Shaun. John and Shaun.
All right, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Be well. That's
Be
my
well.
line, Shaun. That's my line.
Have a
Don't
beautiful-
fucking steal my line.
Have a beautiful day.
All right. Be well.